Hi, superheroes. My name is Joel Mahony. I am the creator of Spiritual Superheroes Coaching, and here at the channel, I will discuss many topics from anxiety to depression to all things spiritual, and a few other things. So, before we begin, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell to get the notifications. So, let me begin. Today, I thought I would talk to you about fear. Now, there are two types of fear. There are real fear, which would be that we may be scared of something, spiders, snakes, maybe a dog might be chasing us, and we are worried that we are going to get attacked by said dog. So we find ourselves running for our lives because said dog might look kind of vicious, and that is a real fear. Whereas other fears, psychological or ego fears, could be somewhat irrational. We could find ourselves in a situation where we believe that we cannot do something that another person might be better at. And in which case, we should not go into it thinking that that person could do something better. We must put our own authenticity into what we are doing and actually do things purely for ourselves because we enjoy doing said things and they are what we are passionate about. When we let these roadblocks get in our way, as far as worrying about what other people are doing, quite often that can lead to procrastination and even halt things altogether. And with that, we don't really get anywhere. We can basically be grinded to a full halt, and then until we actually sort out what the fear is in our own mind, we cannot overcome it. So, today I would just like to give you all a few tips on how to overcome these fears. Now, as far as it being a real fear or a psychological or ego fear, one of the first thing would be to know the difference. Be aware of what you're feeling, because a lot of the time our feelings and emotions are connected to the fear as well. So we must be mindful of what we are actually feeling, what fear we're feeling, and where that fear comes from in order to correct it. So, number two would be to recognize fear in its other guise, like worry, for example. So, if we find ourselves worrying about something, whether it be money or something like that, in a money situation, I will say we find ourselves worrying that we're not going to be able to make ends meet. We're not going to have enough money to pay our rent for the month. These are all worries that we find ourselves having on a regular basis because we are in fact worried that we're not going to be able to survive. So a lot of the time when this happens, it actually stops us from doing what we need to do to actually get what we need to survive. It can stop us before we've even begin. Um, so we have to put worry out of our mind. And that is the second little tip that I have for you all. Pay attention to the mental noise, which are the voices that say, no, you are not good enough. Maybe you're not good at, as good as someone else. Maybe you do like to do things differently, and someone has an opinion about that. But we must keep all that outside noise from seeping in, and with that, when we get rid of all those outside noises, it just becomes us. We listen to ourselves, we listen to our intuition, what our gut feeling is telling us, and then we go basically from our instincts, because only we know what's best for us. So number 4 would be to observe your thoughts. Now, it's not necessarily good to ignore the bad thoughts. It's just that we have to be mindful of them. We don't have to ignore them altogether, because although they are bad thoughts, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, all that type of stuff, they do serve a purpose. You really, and I've said this a lot, you can't have the good without the bad, because without the bad, we actually wouldn't know what the good is. So we must not ignore the bad thoughts. We just need to be mindful that they are trying to trip us up. So last but not least is knowing that it takes practice. And another thing that I have said a lot, we're not going to get things right the first time. We have to practice. They say practice makes perfect, but I don't believe in perfect, because striving for perfection is just something that we're never going to achieve, because there's no such thing as perfect. We can be perfected versions of ourselves, which means mindfulness, sort of being grounded, keeping our emotions in check. It's not necessarily good to block out your emotions. It's not good to ignore them. But again, we need to be mindful of our emotions, and with that, our thoughts. So that was a few tips on how to control fears. And I am Joel Mahony. I hope everyone has a blessed day. I send you love, I send you light, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace out.